Hi guys, let's jump right into it. So just starting off with the Too Faced Lip Injection Gloss to prep and plump the lips. And then going in with a dark brown eyeshadow to fill in my brows. Just sketching them in and then filling in the top with hair-like strokes. I have very sparse brows, which is why I have to do it like this, but if you're comfortable doing your brows a different way, yeah, just do that. It probably shouldn't be as complicated as I need my brows to be. But if you guys have any questions about doing the brows, or if you want a separate tutorial on it, let me know. And then just going in with my NYX Can't Stop One Step Concealer to carve out the brows. Really just cleaning up under the brows and filling in the brow bone a bit. And this is gonna be a clean base for our eyeshadow. But we're just gonna leave the lids bare because we're gonna use a different product there. And now prepping with the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. This is a little bit stickier and it does last a lot longer. So just use a concealer brush to smooth it over the lid. And as you can see, it definitely cancels out any color or hyperpigmentation. And just going over the top of that with my Physicians Formula Healthy Skin Foundation. This is literally one of the most beautiful drugstore foundations I've ever tried. It is very hydrating, smoothing, and long wearing. Just setting the brow bone area with the RCMA No Color Powder. You don't really need any specific powder there. And then I have my MAC Sweet Enough Blush, and I'm just running that through the crease. And then I decided that this blush was not showing up enough, so I do switch to this NYX palette. Just deepening up the crease there a little bit. And you guys can use whatever colors that you have. You don't need these exact products. Taking my Soft Glam palette from Anastasia, excuse how dirty the palette is. So just taking brown shadow from there and deepening up the outer corner a bit. So just slowly build up that corner into a V shape. And you do want to diffuse it and blend it out. And you can see that I take a fluffy brush with some of that pink to diffuse the edges. And eventually I do drag that shadow outwards a little bit, but just softly continue to build and blend that color until you are satisfied with the depth. And then I have my Becca Opal highlighter to just highlight under the brow bones and the inner corners of the eyes. And then have my Colourpop Supershock Shimmer shadow in Summer Lovin. I think this is discontinued, but it's just this pinky goldy shimmery eyelid topper, I guess. And then I go over that with that opal highlighter again just to tone it down. And then I'm mixing those two browns, the dark brown and the medium brown, on an angled brush, and then just drawing in a pretty good wing liner. This is not meant to be too diffused. As you can see, it definitely looks like I have a liner on there, but it's not going to be as harsh as using a liquid or a pencil. And it's a lot easier to control with the angled brush. It's easy to just fill in the top of the lash line and then draw out the wings. I'm just going in and curling my lashes. And then you're about to see my most favorite mascara in the whole wide world, which is this Bobbi Brown Smoky Eye Mascara. And it is more perfect than my second favorite, which is the Essence Lash Stylist. It just perfectly feathers and defines the lashes and volumizes them. I wish I had more time here, but I was running out of time to film this, so I was going really quick, but I could have built up the lashes a lot more. But since we're wearing false lashes today, I didn't really put a whole lot of effort into it. But you can see there how perfect they are. And then just using the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer to smooth out any pores or problem areas. A good drugstore version of this is the L'Oreal Perfecting Primer. And then just going in with my Physicians Formula Spotlight Primer, which is kind of like a glowy base, and just hitting the tops of the cheekbones with that. And this is just going to give us some extra glow from underneath the foundation. And then using my NYX Orange Corrector to just correct any darkness under the eyes. And again, we want to just use enough to correct and not make it look super orange. And hitting those dark spots around the nose and mouth, just the hyperpigmentation that us brown girls tend to get. And then using my Kevyn Aucoin concealer just to cover up any orange that's left there. And I am upping the coverage a little bit because this is meant to be a super polished, glam Valentine's Day makeup tutorial. I'm also concealing around the nose on the top there because I do tend to get a little bit shadowy. Just blending that in with a sponge and then hydrating with the Olay Hydrating Mist. And then I'm just going in with that Physicians Formula foundation again and just using a sponge to blend that in. You can see how smoothing and perfecting it is. And it does have a pretty good medium coverage, which is great because it's going to keep your face from looking too makeup-y. Unless, of course, you're not used to wearing makeup, then you will feel like it's a little bit makeup-y. But it's still beautiful. I'm just blending it down the neck. And then using my Covergirl concealer, just patting it in under the eyes first. You want to go easy with this one because it's super full coverage, and then I just use a fluffy brush to diffuse the edges out first. This is definitely a Patrick Ta trick. And then just use a sponge to blend out the rest underneath the eyes. If you want more of a coverage, you can always let your concealer sit for a little bit and let it dry, and it won't sheer out as much. Just cleaning out underneath the wings there. And then just concealing just the bridge of the nose and highlighting I can't talk. Highlighting in the middle of the forehead a little bit, and down the chin and the Cupid's bow. I don't like to go too much lighter than my foundation with my concealer. Some people do, so if that's what you like, you can do it. And I'm literally mixing 3 different powders here: the Laura Mercier, the Maybelline Fit Me, and the banana powder. I already forgot what they were. But yeah, I saw Harouche doing this trick with different powders, and it just was such a beautiful effect, so I mixed them, and I really love the color and the texture of this. And I just use that damp sponge to tap it in, and then brushing off the excess. You can always put some extra powder on and let it sit and set for a little bit longer if you're oilier. And then using the Maybelline City Bronzer to just define the face a little bit. This bronzer is not too warm for my face, so I get a really good shading with this. The less contrast there is between your foundation and bronzer and blush, I find the more elegant it looks. And then I do just like to define that contour a bit with my Hoola contour, and hitting underneath the lips and contouring the nose a teeny bit at the tips there. And then just using that Becca Opal highlighter on top of the cheekbones. very subtle, not too crazy. You want this to be romantic, not blinding. And then I use the same colors I used on the lid just underneath the eyes. So starting off with that blush and then just deepening the edges with the brown. Then here I have my Shop Miss A lashes in the style Elizabeth. I love these. They're so perfectly wispy and voluminous and fluttery, and they don't overwhelm the eyes. If you're a person who feels like they look crazy in lashes, you might really like these. And I think they were only like $1. So you can visit Shop Miss A. Yeah, they have amazing lashes and they're super cheap. Just putting some mascara on the bottom lashes. I really only do the outer third because I feel like it really drags my eyes down if I do the whole thing. And then just going back in with that MAC blush in Sweet Enough and just tapping that onto the cheeks and just dragging it up over the cheekbones a little bit. I want the bronzer and the highlight and the blush to be diffused all together. And then I just use like a brow pencil to contour the lips. I overdraw my bottom lips and then I just define my top lips as they naturally are. And this is just going to give it a little more shape. And then here's my Milani Spice Liner to just fill in the lips for some color. And then I go in with the NYX Lingerie Liquid Lipstick in Push Up. It's a really lovely pink color. And you see me tapping in some of the blush on top there just to kind of bring an evenness to the tones on the face. And then just setting that in with my L'Oreal Infallible setting spray. And that's the end of the first look. Soft and romantic. And you can add some gloss for some more shine. And here we're gonna amp up the look a little bit with my Wet n Wild palette, just using like a plummy shade to go over the pink. So it's not gonna look super purple, but it's just gonna add a bit more of that lilac tone to the lids. I've always found purple tones to be very romantic. Just deepening up the outer creases and the bottom a little bit with some of the deeper shades in that palette. Just use whatever you have, really. And then just hitting that contour to make it a little more intense, and the blush as well, just to match the depth of the eyes. And there you have that more sultry version of this look. Thanks for watching.